Hey everybody, Dave, the WA FIFO local job recruiter here. People are inquiring from overseas to get a job in WA all the time. Since I turned my Facebook page back on again and my YouTube channel, it's going bananas. Let's talk about some tickets that will get you anywhere near a mine site. If a big company doesn't ask you for a bunch of these tickets, check if they're a cowboy outfit. Check the Google reviews, because if they're asking you to operate a 60-ton machine and they don't care if you've been trained to do it and they trust that on your resume that you can do it, good luck. So the basics. Let's talk about the lowest of the low. Let's talk about trade assistants. That's where I get a lot of my applications and inquiries. Trade assistants. So you want to be a TA. You're going to need a white card. That's the construction industry induction card. It shows that you've been trained on how to read the signs, and you know when you're going to be in a dangerous area to put on your hat and wear your boots and wear gloves and watch out for acid and eye protection and all that stuff. So it's basically comprehension of safety signs. That's how I put it. White card. That's about, I don't know, let's say $70. You can go to a classroom and you walk out with a piece of paper in your hand, or if you do it online, you got to jump a lot of hoops and they'll mail you a plastic card later. I'd go to the classroom. You'd also need an Australian driver's license. It's government issued ID. It's got an address on there. It's got a photo of you on there. You can use it for getting into nightclubs and it's your ID. So I'd get an Australian driver's license, definitely for sure. International driver's licenses might be good for out on the road in Perth, but an Australian issued driver's license, super cool on mine sites. I would also suggest a HR license, heavy rigid. If you're really good, you get a manual. And if you're just having a regular car license, you could get just a C license. C, car, regular. After that, I would be getting a gas testing atmospheres, a GTA. That there is probably gas testing atmospheres. I think mine was $120. A driver's license in Australia. I don't know what it costs anymore, but it's a government thing. I'm sure you're going to pay some bucks for it. So you've got a gas testing atmospheres that shows that you can test the atmosphere in a confined little space to make sure it's not noxious and you and your workmates aren't going to die. Speaking of confined spaces, I'd get a confined spaces ticket. It is training that shows that you will be able to use a little tester to lower it in or raise it into an area that is a confined space and test the gas, So confined spaces, I believe, is when you're 60 or 70 centimetres away from a fresh air source and there's one exit. It's actually working in tight little areas, because as a trade assistant, you're going to be shoved in a hole and underneath the truck and you're going to be working in a confined space. Another good one to get is a working at heights. We call it a W at H. Confined space is probably 150, rough number, and a working at heights is 150 again. It shows that you are trained to use 3 points of contact as you go up ladders, and you're going to be sensible. You're not going to stand near the edge when you don't need to stand near the edge. You can wear a harness. You know how to put the harness on when appropriate, all things like that. When I did mine, we went up like a little office building, and we climbed it with 3 points of contact, put on a harness, and then we were lowered down into a confined space after we tested the gas in the atmosphere in the confined space. So I like to see people get a forklift license as well, an LF code on your high risk work license, forklift on a high risk work license. That's a bit more of a beast. You'll be put in a forklift and expected to pick up some pallets and move it around and reverse and do it safely. Experience is king. You might say I've got a new little AI picture I'm getting around on Facebook and YouTube, but experience is king. Having the ticket is one thing, but a guy like me is going to say, are you a total beginner or are you pretty proficient on the forklift? And you better answer honestly, because if I say it and they send you to site and then you are total beginner, you're going to be found out so soon they can't trust you on the forklift. Then I'm going to call them for feedback to see if I can put you out on another job, and then they're going to say, that guy was terrible on the forklift. I'm going to look at my notes He said he was all right. So forklift license, super mega important, I think. Shows that you're versatile, because if you don't have a forklift license and some experience, things on mine sites are really heavy. And if the boss yells out, "Who's got a forklift license and knows what they're doing?" and you're the only person that puts their hand up, you've just become more valuable than everybody else who doesn't have a license to do it and doesn't know what they're doing. Forklift license. Another super cool one would be a telehandler. This is not a code, telehandler. This is not a code on a high-risk work license, but a telehandler is like a great big forklift on steroids. Experience is king, and a telehandler is like a high-reach stacker, things like that. Also on a high-risk work license is a code of WP. It's called an elevated work platform. Let's put it over here. WP. That's a super cool one to have. You can get them under, I think it's under 12 metres and over 12 metres. Don't quote me on that. If you can, get a WP. Goes in the high-risk work license. The more codes you got on there, the more trained you are, the more duties you can do, the more jobs you're going to be right for. If you wanted to branch out, be a scaffy or a rigger, let's talk about those two. On a high-risk work license, you'd get a RB for basic rigging, or an RI or an RA for advanced rigging. A lot of maths going on there. My best buddy Pierre is a crane operator, and it's maths and like the shape of the sling and the rating of the sling and the date that the sling was last inspected. And rigging is not just standing there just putting it on the hook, or they say getting under the hook. Just put your rope on there is more to it. Scaff work, so you can be a basic scaffy, SB, scaffy intermediate, or scaffy advanced. The higher the code, the more the pay rate, but the more the expectations and the duties. So to be an attractive option to get mine site work in WA, it's 2025 when I record this. To be a TA, get one of those, get one of those, get one of those, get one of those, get one of those. I really recommend getting a forklift license. Being a telehandler operator would be great as well. An EWP, oh, it's over 11 metres, not 12, it's 11 metres, would be great. And then if you want to go down the route of being evolve from being a trade assistant, being a rigger, there are your codes, there. You can do it, does cost money. Look at that, 150, that forklift license, I think mine was about 300. So there's 300, here's 300, another 120, 70. So if you're coming from overseas, you better have some money in the bank to get some tickets from an RTO, a registered training organisation. Don't get it from some dude in the backyard training organisation. Watch out for scammers. Registered training organisations are legit. They're the real deal.